ElevenLabs Sound Effects is finally here. That's right, create sound effects by just typing in and telling ElevenLabs what you want. Let's take a look. ElevenLabs has an entire page of examples that we can listen to, like roaring applause after a successful show, or an explosion in close proximity, or maybe a middle-sized dog barking behind a fence. An old American doorbell ringing behind door. I'll get it. And of course, I'm stopping some of these so they don't keep on playing and playing and playing. A woman filled with fear screaming loudly. Okay, that was enough of that. So how do we create our own sound effects? Once you're signed into ElevenLabs, you'll probably be dropped here on this speech synthesis screen. And from there, the second item in the menu is sound effects. Just click on that. And here we are. You got two tabs at the top, Generate and History. Generate is where you generate, and History shows you what you have generated. Now, unlike speech synthesis, the only thing that's going to save in your History tab here are the generations that you tell ElevenLabs that you want to save in your history right after you generate them. So keep that in mind. So we're going to stay on the Generate tab, and we just describe what we want and then click Generate. I'm going to try something fun, a toilet flushing. And it has generated 4 versions of this sound effect. So let's see what it's got. And if you want to save any of these into your history, just click the little folder icon that's all the way to the right. And speaking of history, let's go over there because there are a few things that I saved. And these are things that I've looked for many times in the past. And for whatever reason, in the sound effect libraries and the video editors that have sound effects and whatnot, I always have a hard time finding certain things. And I don't know if it's because it has a different name than what I'm using, or sometimes I don't even know the name, but I know what it sounds like. Like this one, musical 3-note sound of disappointment that sounds like wah, wah, wah. I don't know how to spell wah, 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 so I did the best I could with that. But we'll click on that, and I think you'll know exactly what I was trying to get here. And these are the 4 generations that I saved. That was pretty much it. But trying to find that in a stock media library was taking me forever. I was like, it can't be this hard. This is what I love about ElevenLabs Sound Effects, is it's going to save me so much time hunting for things that I know exist, but I can't find them. Rim shot after a bad joke. I don't know why, but sometimes when I search by rim shot, I just get one tap of the drum. I don't know, I'm not a music person, but ElevenLabs lets me say rim shot after a bad joke, and then it understands what I meant by that. That's what I'm looking for. Or, that's perfectly suitable too. Or, I like that one as well. Now this last one, the musical alert when an elevator stops at a floor. I don't know what that's called, but I was watching this video and I thought it was really good. And one of the things I liked about it is when they transitioned scenes in the video, and it was an instructional video, but instead of using the typical whoosh transition, they used like a 2-tone sound, and it was soft, and it sounded to me like when you're in an elevator and you get to a floor and it makes that little musical tone when the doors are about to open that sort of says, hey, we're at this floor. Not all elevators do this, but some do. It put me in mind of that, and I thought, how can I get that sound? So I typed in the musical alert when an elevator stops at a floor. And there's what I was looking for. Now, whether you like that sound or you think I'm crazy for thinking that was a cool transition in a video, it's neither here nor there. The point is that I don't know what to call that sound, but I was able to describe to ElevenLabs the musical alert when an elevator stops at a floor. If I tried to find this in a stock media audio library, I'd be there for days typing in different things, trying to figure it out, or searching through everything that had elevator in it. Now, these are just the generations that I saved, because as with anything AI, not every generation is great or even usable. So let's go back over to the Generate tab and do some generating of our own. Let's use one of the example prompts down here of person whispering. When I click that, the prompt is actually a person whispering quiet. Let's just listen to how epic this is. And here are our generations.
Quiet, just 说声好，改变 this.
Yeah, not so much.
Quiet,
Not loving that.
Quiet. Let's just listen to how epic this is.
That one did what it was supposed to do.
Quiet. Let's just listen to how epic this is.
And that one did what it was supposed to do. Now, if I want to keep any of these or all of these, I need to go to each one that I want to save and click on this little folder icon here, Store in History. And that will make it available in my History tab. You switch back over. You see it uses the prompt as like the heading, and if I click that, it'll drop down and show me all of the generations that I saved. In that case, I only saved one. But you can save multiple versions. If you don't click that little folder icon to save it to your history, it's gone and you're going to have to regenerate and try it again. Now, I don't know, this person whispering these words, I don't know, I might try that in just regular speech synthesis, better suited for that. I mean, this came out okay, don't get me wrong. It's hard to say if it nailed it or not because I'm not really looking for that specific thing, so I can't say yes, that fits or no, it doesn't. 2 out of the 4 were a person whispering, quiet, let's just listen to how epic this is. Let's talk about settings, which there's a button right here inside the prompt box over on the left, and if we click that, it opens up the settings menu on the right. What you find is you have 2 options here. You have duration and prompt influence. Duration by default is going to say automatically pick the best length. So you're going to let ElevenLabs decide how long this sound effect should be. As you might have noticed in our generations, we had a wide variety of results there. Sometimes it thought it was a 2-second thing. Sometimes when it had that musical mess just out of nowhere, that was like 14 seconds. You can also specify exactly how long you want your generations to be. If you just uncheck this box and then dial it in wherever you want it, or type the number, you can say 2 seconds right there. And now it will only generate 2-second clips. Now, what you choose here has a direct impact on how much the generations are going to cost. And right here in the FAQ for the sound effects, it explains that to us. If you let ElevenLabs decide the optimal length, it's going to charge you 200 characters. And it'll charge you that 200 characters for the 4 total generations. It's not 200 per generation times 4, which would be 800. It's 200 characters to generate 4 versions of whatever you asked for in your prompt. Now, if you manually set the duration to something else, you're going to be charged 40 characters per second. So if you specify the duration of 2 seconds, I only want this sound effect to be 2 seconds long, it's going to charge you 80 characters to generate 4 versions of whatever was in your prompt. If you let ElevenLabs decide how long the generation should be, it's going to charge you a flat 200 characters, and that's whether it generates a 2-second sound effect or a 14-second sound effect, as you saw in our examples. So keep that in mind if you're looking for something really short, as is often the case for me. A lot of times I'm looking for a sound effect that's less than a second or less than 2 seconds. It'd probably be wise to go ahead and specify that. Tell ElevenLabs I want this to be 1 second or 2 seconds, and you'll only be using 40 or 80 characters rather than 200. Now, on the flip side, leaving that set at automatically pick the best length does allow ElevenLabs the creative freedom to come up with what you want. So if you have it set on like 2 seconds, which is the last thing that I used, and it's not coming up with what you want, you might want to come in here and your settings and switch this to automatically pick the best length, and maybe it'll work. In the settings, you can also adjust your prompt influence, and this is, as we see in many AI generation things, how close do you want this thing to stick to what you said, or how creative can it be? You go over here into the 100%, you're telling it, don't get creative, just give me what I asked for. You come down here to more creative, you're pretty much saying ignore my prompt. The default, they leave this at 30%. Now I think the more creativity side can also help in situations like I've been showing you today where I don't really know the official name of the sound I'm looking for. I don't know what it's called, but I know the scenario in which I've heard it. I'm assuming that by allowing ElevenLabs to have some creativity, it's able to make some interpretations of what I'm saying and get me to where I want. So I probably wouldn't want to take this all the way to the right. Let's create the old standby, the whoosh. Let's go to settings and let's turn off this automatic, and I'm going to tell it make this 1.5 seconds. Well, not 151, just one. Oh, not 15 either. Where'd my point go? there's my point. 1.5 seconds. I've got that prompt influence right now at 50%, and we're going to try that. Leave it there. And let's say generate. See if we can get a nice short whoosh. Oh, need to close this so we can see. Okay, nice. Good. Good. Sharp. I mean, I like all of those. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and add all of them to my history so that I can grab them again. Let's try something like door closing. For that, I probably want to give it a little bit more time. I'm going to say like 2 seconds of door closing. And on this settings screen, we can click generate right down here at the bottom. So close that. Let's see what our door closing sounds like. I like it. I like it. That's a door. I'm going to save all of these because they were all really good. Let's try correct answer sound. Go back over to the settings, reset everything back to the defaults. We'll let ElevenLabs do its thing with the length and put the creativity at 30%. I'll hit generate down here on the bottom, and then we'll close this. I wish you could have this open and this stuff up at the same time so that you could just play and make your adjustments, but that's not the way it works. So here we go. Good correct answer sound. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, a little chirpy. I like that. We're going to save all of those. This is going to change the workflow of how I edit videos, because I can already see that it's going to take me much less time to get the sound effect I want in most cases than what it currently is taking. As it goes now, I'm in the middle of editing and I think of a sound effect that I want there, and I look through my local library of stuff that I've saved that I use frequently, and if none of that quite fits, then I need to go off to a stock media library, and I start searching and I end up down the rabbit hole, and an hour later I still don't have a sound that is even close to what I was looking for. So now my momentum for editing is shot and I'm frustrated. Since this is going to make that a whole lot quicker, I can see that I can just pop right over to ElevenLabs when I have the idea in my head, type the idea, generate, download the sound, insert it, and we're off. Now in some cases, before the video editing even starts, I've got some ideas of some sound effects that I want to use. I can certainly come in here and generate ones that I know I'm going to want before I even start editing. And it looks to me like this is going to be a lot faster than, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm the only one that has a hard time going through stock media libraries and audio asset libraries and finding the sound effect. I can hear it in my head, I just don't know what to call it when I'm typing what it's been named. And I'm really liking the idea that I can tell it exactly how long I want this sound effect to be by specifying how many seconds down to the 10th of a second. That is so cool, because I'm constantly finding in stock media libraries, I'll find a sound that I think should be a second or two. You know, I want a snapping finger or a mouse click, and I'm finding 15-second long clips, and I'm like, that should be like half a second, not 15 seconds. And I find the clips that the way they've been uploaded and stored in the library, they have 5 seconds of silence before and 5 seconds of silence after and a half a second of the actual sound. I like the fact that I can tell this. I want something that's 2 seconds. That's it, and there we go. Now, who can generate sound effects with ElevenLabs? Well, even on the free plan, you can generate sound effects. It says so right here on the pricing page. If you want to be able to use those sound effects for commercial purposes without attribution, you'll need the starter plan or above. The starter plan is $5 a month. And it takes you from 10,000 characters a month to 30,000 characters a month. Plus, it gives you access to instant voice cloning, the dubbing studio, and of course, the commercial use license. I'm on the creator plan, which gives you 100,000 characters per month. Currently, I'm not using anywhere near that, but I went with that plan to get access to some of the features that just aren't available in the other plans. Now, if you've never used ElevenLabs before, by all means, come on in here, get on the free plan, try it out, see how everything works. If you like it and you actually want to use the stuff and you want the commercial license without attribution, then bump up to one of these other plans. There's a link in the description. I am an affiliate, so at some point, if you do bump up from the free plan to one of the paid plans, I may receive a small commission, and I sincerely appreciate it. I got a bunch of teenage boys in my house, and they eat a lot, so thank you very much. But if you're not into using my link, that's cool too. Still head on over to 11 Labs, get signed up for a free account, and take it for a test drive.